cool, I guess.
All right, guys, welcome to Chilling with c.bo. I am your host, c.bo, and I'm here with three people. My usual co-host, the one and only, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Was looking forward to talking Patriots Day, but then Fandome happened, and then Patriots Day kind of, for lack of better words, blew up in our face. So
Jesus, wow. Wow. Okay, let's moving on. Pedro, how you doing, man?
doing well, man. Doing well. Excited to talk about Fandome. Talk about Batman.
And Captain Jack, man, how you doing?
Hello, you can call me Captain Boomerang because that's the only thing I'm excited about right now.
Oh, man. All right, so it's clear that we are geeking out about all the stuff that came out of Fandome. This past weekend, Warner Brothers and DC put on an interactive, online-only convention where filmmakers and people all entertainment sides of DC discussed what was gonna be released within the next 5 years. Their plans. We got trailers for Wonder Woman 84, the new Batman movie, the Snyder Cut, all that good stuff, and it's a good time to be alive, to be a DC head, guys. Yeah, and I gotta say, the first angle I guess I want to discuss with this is, man, this was a really good idea during the times we live in. You know what I'm saying? Like, how important was this to have a convention when there's no in-person conventions right now?
Huge.
I'd say pretty important for geeks everywhere.
Yeah.
The most introverted themed conventions like Comic-Con and all those other cons that are happening and that can't happen because of COVID. I'd say this kind of fulfills the starvation for that.
Yeah, and with not a lot of new content releasing at the moment, it was just so awesome to see what new content is on the horizon when once all this is once we're past this, it's just oh man, there's just so much to look forward to. And it's just a lot of times Comic-Con, when a trailer premieres at Comic-Con, it does not get released on the internet automatically, and it's just so cool to have all this stuff that all these filmmakers and entertainers to talk about straight to us, and not there be a exclusivity. Everyone can see what was going on, and that was just awesome. And the fan interaction was also on another. I was actually watching some of the panels, and they were talking to fans from all over the world, taking questions from them. It was just really cool and a really dope experience. And man, I hope they do this again, sometime, even if there are in-person conventions next year.
Yeah, I think they tackled it really well. It would be really cool to see a lot of that kind of community interaction online interspersed with those that go to these conventions.
Yeah.
That would be really cool because that way it gets more people to check out their content. But I feel like you can never not have an in-person convention. Those things are awesome.
Of course, yeah.
Everyone's been to Comic-Con here. It's so much fun.
Of course, I'm just saying. I guess there's a place for both now. I guess we can do both.
This is proof that we could get away with doing both.
Yeah.
We can still attend cons either virtually or physically, but virtually has its perks. We don't have to be crammed in a hot room with other people with makeup and costumes, sweating.
And it's cheaper too.
Exactly. Actually, wasn't it free?
Yeah, it was free. Yeah.
Yeah. The bad part, I say, the bad part is that we couldn't buy merchandise. So that
you could buy merchandise. I think you could still buy merchandise. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You have the internet. Everything is available everywhere.
Yeah. There's a merch store you can just click on anytime. While you're watching the panel.
All right. I'll remember that next time.
Yeah, but there's going to be two parts to the DC Fandome. This past weekend was just the movie side and all that, and then I think the next part is September 12th, and it's gonna be like everything else, TV, comic books, and all that. And I'll look forward to that because I'm sure there's gonna be some good stuff to come out of that as well. But they realized though that it was supposed to be all one weekend, and that would have been like insane because it would just been like information overload, even though it already was with just the movies. So imagine all the movies, TV, comics, and stuff colliding together like that. It would just our heads would have just blown off. Like
it would have been too much for the human mind to process.
Yeah, but but I guess we're gonna go straight into the movies and all that, and the video games we are looking forward to. And I guess the first thing, the thing that's coming close to us right now is Wonder Woman 84. We got a new trailer, and we finally saw Cheetah. Now, I guess I'll start off in my opinion, say like, I just want this damn movie to release now. This movie's been getting teased for like 2 years now, like, and it comes out as of right now this October. It's just like, I want the movie now. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm excited for it, but it's like, just give it to me now. Like, what about you guys? What do you guys think of the new trailer?
I thought the trailer was pretty good. It really set the tone for the movie, and I like how I do like the cast choice for Cheetah. I mean, Kristen Wiig seems like the kind of has that kind of I want to sound like special like aura, that someone who's like underestimated and overlooked, and who's trying to push herself into being more. Like, she's jealous of Wonder Woman and she wants to be more than Wonder Woman. You couldn't have picked a better person. Also, I like the design of her cheetah look.
Yeah,
it's almost like it's very much like in the comics, but like, not like human face, but covered fur, which I like. In other words, she doesn't look like a furry.
Yeah. You mean like Cat? She doesn't look like Cat from Cats.
Oh man, that would have been something.
Oh,
that I kind of think it's cool though that you see her with superpowers and she still looks kind of normal before she turns into full, like her full persona where she's like all cat.
Yeah.
I want to see that progression. I'm also curious as to this new suit, like this new armor she's wearing. That Gal Gadot specifically, that looks sick, and it's got wings. Like, does she fly? I gotta know.
That's weird because she can fly without wings.
She doesn't really fly in these movies. She like jumps like high, but like, hey, maybe she flies in this one.
Can we talk about how she used her lasso to swing on lightning? Can we talk about that for a hot second? Like when I watched this trailer multiple times in a row, and I couldn't get over the fact that there's just a scene of her screaming in the clouds, and she just whips her lasso, and it catches on a bolt of lightning, and she just swings away through the clouds. I'm like, what?
Well, that's the advantage of being a daughter of Zeus.
Yeah, that's what I really love about how this movie looks. It's definitely embracing its comic book aesthetics, and it's really going for it, and I love that. It's very colorful, and the fact that it's set in the 80s, like my favorite decade, I'm like, yes. And it looks like what an 80s movie will look like, but with like modern technology. So that's really cool in my opinion.
I'm low-key expecting a Stranger Things cameo from any of the kids just to like pop up.
How do you guys feel about Chris Pine being back?
Yeah.
Who wants to go first on that?
Okay, I'll go first. Well, on one hand, it's awesome that he's back because Gal Gadot, whichever one it is, her chemistry with Chris Pine is great, and their back and forth in the first Wonder Woman was awesome, and then they're great together, and they kind of made the movie even better with their chemistry. But on the other hand, it's like the dude died in the first one. He was on an exploding plane, and so it's like they better have a good explanation as to why he's back. But yeah, but like I said, I'm kind of glad he's back. So yeah, what about you guys?
Well, it's kind of interesting how remember in the first movie they had the whole she's a stranger in a foreign land and he's guiding her.
Yeah, they twist on that this time.
Yeah, they reversed it. Now he is the stranger in the 80s, and everything, she's so new to him, and she actually went through all these changes and now knows more than he does. It's an interesting twist for sure. Jack, do you want to go first?
No, you can go. I asked the question.
I am of the mindset that if you kill someone off in a movie or a comic book, they stay dead.
Hello, Death of Superman, anyone?
No, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's like, why kill someone if you're just gonna end up bringing them back anyways? You know, there's no meaning in death anymore. There's no like significance in risk for storylines. And you know, Chris Pine, great actor, great chemistry and all, but you know, another actor could have done pretty good. It could have been a great story of like Wonder Woman learning to move on from loss and trying to adapt as the times go on, and accept that she is an immortal in the world of mortals, and she has to watch the people she cares about perish.
That is true, but I do think there's a twist and a price to pay for Steve being back, and I think it's gonna break our hearts again when he I feel like he's probably gonna die again, but this time for good. And she's gonna be like, "I love you, Steve, forever."
Whatever Gal Gadot's accent is in this movie.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot. Sorry, Jack.
I feel like there's got to be some sort of twist.
Yeah, definitely.
Steve's back.
Well,
There's got to.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just trying to think of what it could be. Thinking back into the
I
mythos
think I know what Patriots
of
about
comics.
to say. Yeah.
But also at the same time, superhero movies don't have characters that die forever because there's no superhero books like made by big companies like DC or Marvel that ever stick with a writing decision like killing off a character unless that character sucks and doesn't make money. Like there's a reason why Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and this tier of heroes, there's a reason why they have multiple storylines in which they die and then everything gets returned back to the status quo because MacGuffin A was recovered from Journey C and you know all that typical writing journey stuff. But I like how Steve is coming back into this one, and it seems like it's going to be really funny. I just hope it doesn't turn into that kind of scenario where Steve is all comic relief and he makes it too funny when the focus of the movie is more about Wonder Woman. And I would think the focus is Wonder Woman versus Cheetah.
I don't think you can worry about DC movies being too funny. That's the least of their problems.
More of a Marvel territory.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, like, towards Jack's question about like how the twist of behind Steve's return, you had to focus on Pedro Pascal's character, Maxwell Lord.
Yeah.
He's one of the most intelligent and conniving characters in a DC universe. And in fact, it was Wonder Woman who killed him back I think during Infinite Crisis, maybe. I'm not sure, but all I know is that Maxwell Lord, he also killed Blue Beetle. Remember how, like, in continuity, Blue Beetle has been dead, and then Hyman Reyes took his place? He was killed by Maxwell Lord. So, about the whole comic book characters dying and staying dead, Ted Kord stayed dead for a while until Rebirth, and then he was brought back as a CEO of Kord Industries.
I'm glad you did bring up Pedro Pascal's character name because I didn't realize that was supposed to be Maxwell Lord.
Yeah. So definitely has something to do with him.
Guys, as much as I appreciate this movie and we're all looking forward to it, like we got a lot of ground to cover here.
Yeah, but we gotta talk about this stuff though. It's important.
But
everything.
This movie comes out in 2 months if New Jersey theaters come open. So hopefully that happens and we can watch the movie safely.
If New Jersey theaters open by the time this movie comes out, I vote we all go see it.
Absolutely, yeah, and we can talk about it on a podcast. Yeah.
First theater or Regal?
We'll see. Well, first of all, Phil Murphy has to say, "Hey, theaters are gonna open." So let's get to that first. Yeah. All right. So I guess the next thing we're gonna talk about on the doc. But yeah, this movie looks awesome. We're gonna watch it. All right. Cool. But the next thing we'll talk about is probably the video games that are finally been revealed. So it's first things first. WB Montreal, the developers of Arkham Origins, this is their first game since 2013. Has finally been revealed, and it is a Bat Family game featuring playable Red Hood,
Yes.
Nightwing, Batgirl, and Robin. Wow, like that is awesome. And I've always wanted a game like that because like when playing the past Arkham games as Batman, you see like Nightwing or like Robin pop up, and you're like, man, I'd like to play as those guys. Those guys look awesome. And lo and behold, they finally answered our request to have an open world game starring those characters. And yeah, I'm so happy that this got revealed, and this is probably my most anticipated game of 2021. What about you guys?
Wow.
I like how they have the Court of Owls as the main bad guys.
Yeah.
This is a relatively new villain corporation in the Batman universe, and already these guys got a lot of traction. Like when they appear on Gotham or that movie Batman vs. Robin, and to see them in video game form, it just validates their existence as a formidable Batman villain.
Yeah, they became instantly iconic. They only got invented in like 2011, but like
right after New 52.
Yeah, like oh man, like it's crazy how much of an impact they made.
Yeah.
What about you, Juan?
I wanted a continuation of the Arkham series, man. All right, I wanted to see who this new darker threat was it that was going to succeed Bruce Wayne's Batman after Arkham Knight. Okay, and I know that the Arkham series ended on a great note. It was a great place to stop the story. I know, but I still would have loved to continue, to continue that storyline. See like how things would have developed over the years without Batman being there. And now, granted, this game kind of provides that answer, sort of, but it's not good enough for me. And
talk about the DLCs for those of you who don't know. The whole Robin, Nightwing, and Batgirl DLCs, and Red Hood too.
In any case, I guess I'm trying to say is great for them that they came out with this game. I would want to play it. It'll take me back to my Shrek 2 days.
Speaking of that, when you said, "Oh, this looks like Shrek 2," like what do you mean by that?
In Shrek 2 for the PS2 back in like 2004. Jack, did you play this game when you were younger?
I did.
So back in
I'm the only one that hasn't played it. All right.
It was my favorite game because it was a co-op game, and you were playing with 4 different characters at a time. And Jack, let me ask you real quick: who was your favorite character to play as? Because mine was Little Red Robin Hood.
Shrek. I wanted to play Shrek.
You wanted to be Shrek.
Simple. Well, I am Shrek.
It was awesome. But anyway, if this game is anything like Shrek 2, then fine, I'll excuse it. But the hardcore Arkham storyline fan in me would want to see an epilogue game for Arkham Knight.
Okay, that's fair, but like
I disagree.
Jack, yeah, go Jack. Yeah,
I disagree very much. I mean, first off, they said in the gameplay footage that they showed and how it's an alpha build, and there seems to be some sense of there's a leveling system because certain characters like level up, and they were talking about how as you level up in the game, that bosses get harder and they dynamically change with your level and they do certain attack patterns and things like that. And that's really cool. But not only is there a leveling system, but it also seems like even though there are 4 different heroes at the moment, they're only showing and giving away the fact that there's co-op, but it's only 2-player co-op out of 4 characters. And that irritates me because you can't show these 4 playable characters and not have a co-op scenario where you can be playing with 4 people and you're all going on like some sort of mission where all 4 of them are viable to be there. Like I can understand if they cut it back so that, you know, four playable characters in an Arkham style puzzly environment, that's kind of a lot and it can easily overwhelm a lot of NPCs. But this is the time where they could turn, like, kind of flavor that Arkham combat to benefit from having 4 playable characters in this space. Like they already showed the gameplay footage of 2 people fighting Mr. Freeze at the end of the trailer. So like, and they had some instances of co-op combat. So it's interesting to me because it seems like they can easily either rack up more NPCs for people to fight or create new environments to sustain 4-player co-op in a game. The fact that this game so far only seems like it's going to have 2-player co-op and there's 4 playable characters makes me sad. And that's why it doesn't seem like Shrek 2, because Shrek 2, you could play up to 4 people. And this also does not at all feel like Shrek 2. So I have no idea why you brought up Shrek 2. Other than the fact to bring up Shrek.
But like, I don't think this has split screen either. So that too as well. Like at least, yeah.
Shrek 2
I couldn't see this being a split screen game at all. But they have done multiplayer Arkham stuff in the past, so I don't see why they couldn't. Yeah. I don't see why they couldn't adapt it to work in this setting. It's instead of it being PvP, it's PvE. So like, I don't know. I really want this game to be as incredible as it seems. Like the idea that you can have the 3 Jason, Dick Grayson. Is it supposed to be Tim Drake?
It's Tim Drake.
Okay.
That's not Tim. That's Damien.
No, it's Tim. It got confirmed. It's Tim.
Yeah, it's Tim.
Because he kind of
looks similar to Damien, though. Yes.
He's got like the Red Robin cowl going, and that's why I thought it was really weird because I couldn't tell who it was supposed to be. But just having those 4 iconic Batman sidekicks, they're their own heroes at this point, but having them in their own game and doing the disservice of keeping them all separated from each other, I feel like I just want to see all of them together on the screen at the same time, fighting crime and seeing Jason shoot guns at people and all that jazz. It'd be so cool.
That's a fair assessment, definitely.
Who's everyone going to play as? I want to know that.
Me, Red Hood, definitely. I call dibs for life.
Okay.
Probably Barbara. I love Batgirl. What about you?
Probably Nightwing. It's easy. He seems like a pretty good flow character, and
Nightwing is second for me, definitely.
I mean, it seems like everyone's going to pick one character each. I actually like to play as Tim Drake because he's my favorite Robin, period. I think it's interesting how his character power is he tapped into the Justice League teleporter and he uses
I saw that,
to like get around to places. I thought that was really cool. But I think my second would definitely be Red Hood because you don't get to play as Red Hood that often. It's such a good character.
Speaking of that, like, is he using like concussive rounds? Because like,
oh no, he's probably straight murdering people. There's no Batman to tell him otherwise.
You think Dick and Barbara and Tim are just gonna let him use actual bullets on people and just? I don't know.
In the past,
Batman's no longer here.
Okay, so now that Bruce is gone, it's like, we're a little lenient. Hey, Jason, do what you want.
He's like, everyone's just like, there are no rules. That's why Tim Drake's like, I'm just gonna hack the Justice League. All those classic Batman sounds.
All right, so we're all looking forward to it, but as Jack said, let's wait a little bit before we get a little too excited. I guess.
I have huge expectations for this game. Is what I'm trying to
Yes,
say.
I have too. Me too. So another video game they revealed was the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League trailer. There was no gameplay, but the CGI cinematic that they showed was a very good showcase of what the game's going to be about. And you basically play as a Suicide Squad, and the Justice League has been compromised, and you have to take them all down. That is one hell of a premise. And I love that the trailer ended with them like, oh crap, we really got to fight Superman. Like, these Harley Quinn, King Shark, Captain Boomerang. It's like, oh, we gotta fight Superman now. That's crazy. And apparently not only do you fight Superman, you fight like Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, the Flash. You gotta pretty much take gods down. Like, these aren't like, these guys, you're regular crazy people trying to take down gods, and that is just so cool. And I can't wait to see more of it. It's just like, it doesn't come out till 2022, so it's like,
I'm excited. If the writing, if it's going to be the kind of writing that it was in this cinematic trailer, I can only imagine what the game is going to be like. Because I was laughing like while this whole trailer was going on. I thought it was really funny, the dynamic between everyone, and I'm curious to see if the Suicide Squad is going to take on the same premise as like the Gotham Knight, where they say it's the Suicide Squad, but there's only those 4 that we saw in the trailer.
yeah.
Or is it going to be
Deadshot's in it as well.
a huge, like, it's the whole Suicide Squad, where it's like you can pick 4 of any of the Suicide Squad and then go in and
they're probably gonna do 4 for now, like DLC for other characters. What about you guys? What do you guys thoughts on this new Suicide Squad game? Well, it's by Rocksteady too, so by Arkham Knight developers.
So I thought it was interesting, like it is by Rocksteady, and you were going down the list of superheroes: Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Superman, and it got me thinking: is Batman not in this?
I think
with the Arkhamverse.
Apparently it is set in the Arkhamverse.
So Pablo, you got your wish.
Mm-hmm.
Epilogue.
A very disjointed epilogue.
Yes.
An epilogue nonetheless.
But it's exclusively for next-gen systems, so no PS4 or Xbox One. It's just straight next-gen. Because the Gotham Knights game, with all the stuff you were saying, Jack, all your concerns and stuff, that's probably because they're still doing it for this-gen consoles. Yeah. That's why.
But to have that, to stay more towards the Suicide Squad side of things, I'm kind of okay with it coming out on next-gen consoles.
Yeah, me too.
But knowing that they are going to come out with this kind of game is kind of exciting, because I don't know, I feel like superhero games are very hit or miss, but for whatever reason DC games seem to be
they're better nowadays,
doing a lot better. I mean, granted, there's Spider-Man and
the Avengers game looks okay.
No, it doesn't. There, unpopular opinion. I don't want to play or buy the Avengers game. There, Mike dropped.
At least
the Suicide Squad kind of looks like a better version of that, to be honest.
Why is it
just from the cinematic? Yeah.
Why is it that DC's better at making everything but movies?
Anyway, Juan, what do you think about the Suicide Squad, the game?
I'm looking forward to it. I think it looks fun. I think it looks like something that you don't have to really think a lot about to play. You get to play as either a crazy clown woman, a cocky Australian with an affinity for boomerangs, Will Smith, and a shark that can talk. That's like if this wasn't DC related, it'd be the most wacky video game out there.
This is probably gonna be more like Shrek 2 than Gotham Knights is.
We're just all about this Shrek 2 nonsense. Huh?
I just can't believe you hate Shrek 2 so much.
I don't hate it. I just don't understand why you thought Gotham Knights of all things is like Shrek 2. It's so drastically different. You could have said any other game.
Yeah, my mind in the words of Patrick Starr, the inner mechanisms of my mind are an enigma.
And the milk falls over.
The milk falls over, yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah.
So should we
should we
talk about the other Suicide Squad thing that came out?
Yeah, I guess we'll go into the next Suicide Squad. So yeah, Suicide Squad, DC is really pushing them, and I guess we're getting another Suicide Squad movie next year with the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn, in the director's this time, and we didn't get a formal trailer, but we did get a behind the scenes look and a like casting roll call where this, they list all the actors' names and their character they're playing. And I gotta say, even though we didn't get a trailer, this movie is probably gonna be freaking awesome. Like, holy crap! Like, dude, they're going for it with this movie. And like, man, this is the Suicide Squad movie I wanted in 2016, but we didn't get that. So yeah. But also I gotta say, Harley Quinn's outfit, the red and black, oh my gosh, she looks incredible. And this is the best look she's had so far in the movies. And we haven't even seen this movie yet. And like, hey, your guy Pete Davidson's in it too, Juan.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think of the Suicide Squad?
Yo, they got my boy Polka Dot Man in there. They got Bloodsport. They brought Rick Flag back, which was really cool. They got what's his face? The Shark Man. The Shark Man's in this. King Shark is also in this movie, which is crazy. They're finally doing what they should. I feel like Suicide Squad 1 was definitely like an appetizer, and then just to get you on board with the fact that DC characters. Why are you showing Sean Gunn as Weasel?
I just think those eyes are just hilarious.
Oh yeah, he looks really weird. But also,
the weirder the better, man.
Nathan Fillion's going to be TDK, which is pretty awesome. I don't know. There's just a lot of good casting in this movie that I wasn't expecting at all. Like John Cena.
That's what I'm looking forward to probably the most. John Cena.
Nathan Fillion. Michael Rooker. I'm just looking at a cast. Is Taika Waititi being King Shark?
That's it. That's the rumor so far. But I could totally see how you can bring this Korg. Like, actually, no, it says someone else. It says the guy's name is Steve Agee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a fake name. Ooh.
He's the Steve Agee, the comedian?
Yeah, he's gonna be King Shark.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang. Anyway, I think the cast of characters they got for this movie is great. Both actors and the characters themselves. I'm kind of curious as to who will and who won't make it. Because
they teased that like there's gonna be the death toll is gonna be high in this movie.
Yeah, so I kind of want to know who do we think. We'll say who do you, top. We'll say top 3 guaranteed to make it. Who do you guys think will make it through this movie?
Obviously, Harley Quinn's gonna make it. That because she's the premier character.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Boomerang for sure.
I don't know. He might die, but like he might be.
He's a squirrely little guy. He'll live.
But I'm glad they brought that actor back though. He was actually really good despite that movie.
Jai Courtney?
Yeah, Jai Courtney. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bloodsport will die.
You think Bloodsport will die?
Ooh, he's the second main character. Ooh.
Yeah. Idris Elba's character. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Blackguard, Pete Davidson's character, is not going to really make it through this movie.
Oh, but he's definitely gonna have some memorable scenes though.
Maybe. I don't know. Like I think out of all of them, I don't know. Do we think Rick Flag is going to make it through this movie?
We'll see. He could probably have like an honorable death, like sacrificing himself. He definitely seems like that type of person.
Was he still dating Enchantress?
Enchantress died, dude.
Enchantress.
Oh, they brought her back to life with the thing.
They did? I haven't seen. I literally haven't seen it since the theater. So I do want to see it again just to be like, man, what the hell? Like, I do want to see it though again.
Like
How Jack says that they brought her back with the thing. It's basically how comics history is always going to be explained.
It's a spoiler-free spoiler. You know, they did the thing and they brought her back. You know.
Juan, would you be mad if Pete Davidson died like in the first 5 minutes?
No, I think that'd be pretty funny for him because, like, I think that's what he would want just for shock value, not more of the movie. Just pick up a check for the one scene and leave.
So 2 SNL cast members and 2 DC movies. SNL is thriving right now, I guess.
I'm kind of curious. I feel like Polka Dot Man isn't going to make it as much as I would like for that to not be the case.
He's played by the schizophrenic guy from The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's he's always gonna be known as that by me. And I'm like, oh, it's this schizo guy.
He's also the Russian from Ant-Man.
Yes, he is. Yes, yeah. He's been in a lot of things. Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna have some cool scenes, but if he doesn't make it all the way through to the end of the movie, I'm gonna be really sad.
He's probably gonna be like the most tragic, like emotional character. Polka Dot.
I just hope he doesn't do a Diablo thing where he's just like, all right, I've been waiting 2 hours to do this, and then he just takes off all of his spots and just starts chucking them into the wind. And it's like, no, Polka Dot Man, if you do that, you'll die. He's just like, I don't care anymore. That kind of thing.
Suicide Squad. It's expected.
I actually like Diablo in the original Suicide Squad movie. He was one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, they shouldn't have killed him.
Yeah. He was just some.
Could have killed anyone. They could have killed Killer Croc.
Well, they killed Slipknot. That was tragic.
I was happy he didn't kill Killer Croc. He is honestly one of my favorite DC villains.
Yeah, but he looked like crap.
Really? I thought he looked amazing. That makeup was awesome.
But Killer Croc is supposed to be.
There's 2 versions of Killer Croc you can do.
Monstrous. Like, I feel more people subscribe to the kind of Killer Croc that's this huge, imposing figure that's the size of 2 men, and he's more monster than person. But I don't know. I feel like they did that with King Shark, at least. Like, King Shark, they made the right decision to be like, okay, this is a shark and a man. We're not putting makeup on a dude. Like, granted, I'm the first person to advocate for practical effects every single time, for sure. But the way that Killer Croc looked in the first Suicide Squad just made me sad.
I liked it.
I apologize for laughing. It's just when Jack was talking and he kept mentioning Killer Croc, it made me think of like Suicide Squad from the movie, and it just made me think of this really bad joke, which was, what did Captain Boomerang say when he met Killer Croc?
What?
Rocky.
What?
Rocky.
Oh yeah, there's I like when he in the original Suicide Squad when he introduces Katana. It's like, this is Katana. Her sword is filled with souls. You don't want to mess with her. Something like that. And it's like the most hilarious thing ever. That original Suicide Squad movie was something else, man. Woo. They made a lot of money, so that's why we're getting this one. So if that movie was not successful, we wouldn't be getting this one. So yeah, good on that movie for being successful, despite how underwhelming it was.
Did they say Batfleck was supposed to appear in this Suicide Squad for a brief scene? Was that confirmed, or am I thinking?
No, he's in Flash. We're gonna talk about Flash and all that later, but okay. But anyway, so Suicide Squad.
Hey guys, so I just got a message from my boss saying that he needs a video done by 5 o'clock, so I have to duck out at around 4. But
all right. Let's get to the meat of it then.
I want to like touch on Batman real quick, the Batman, and then I'll duck out.
Yeah.
Right.
So, anyone want to set it up?
Pedro.
When I first saw the trailer, I was gonna like, oh great, it's gonna be like Suicide Squad. It's gonna be all like typical like comic book trying too hard kind of thing. And then I saw like it was really dark. It's like one of those thriller serial killer movies in comic book form. And the fact that they have Riddler there as the serial killer, along with Penguin, who played by Colin Farrell, and you don't even know that's him. Like, that makeup is on point. I've never been this excited for a comic book movie like this, and that says something because, like, I would get this excited for an Avengers film or something, but for a DC movie to have this kind of atmosphere and this kind of excitement and really good feedback from fans, it's just fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. Like, I want it out now. And I'm looking forward to it.
What about you, Juan?
When are we gonna stop judging actors before we get to see them in their roles? You know, we did the same thing when fans got on Michael Keaton's case when he was Batman in Batman '89, and that turned out to be one of the better iterations of Batman in movies. People got on the case of Ben Affleck for taking the role, and he did a pretty spectacular job portraying a troubled, damaged Batman who still tried to do the right thing. And Robert Pattinson's not playing a Batman who I'm not really 100% sure what the story of it is. Apparently, is it that he's new to the scene?
It's year 2 for Batman.
Year 2. So it's a young, still learning Batman who had to deal with mafia bosses and thugs for the past year and not getting to the supervillains of his career. It's what it's feel like. We have to stop underestimating actors when it comes to these roles, man.
Yeah.
You know, we just have to. We just have to wait to see what the trailers or the finished product look like, and then we can judge. But with actor announcements and with people just high expectations for characters, it kind of just makes it silly when when we get to see the finished result, we'll feel like, wow, we were wrong for judging.
I guess I'll go. Yeah, this trailer was awesome, and I didn't think we'd ever get a Batman movie like this. I feel like that's a little I don't know. Will they go for it? I'm like, wow, they're going for it. And everyone says this looks like Seven meets Batman, and that could not be a better combination out there. Yes, give me that. And the fact that they only shot 25% of this movie and they had this good of a trailer just means we are not prepared for the 75%. We are not prepared for that at all. And this movie's going to blow our minds when we see it on October 2021. And I can't wait. This trailer, to me, this trailer was kind of a mix of being dark and realistic, but also it's still a little comic booky still. Like Batman's suit. What do you guys think of the suit?
Looks good.
I think it's raw.
What about you, Juan?
Well, like Pedro said, it's raw. Like Jack said, it looks good. I feel like with Batman, the story of Batman is how he adapts to situations going forward in his career, right? He's only year 2 of doing this, so it's expected to make it look like he's a little, quote unquote, raw in terms of equipment and build. I mean, the Batmobile is a Mustang with a nitro boost.
Yeah, that I love that. That's so cool because no offense to Nolan's Batmans or even Affleck's Batmans, but those bat suits do not look like they were made by regular people. And especially those Batmobiles. Those are freaking tanks. For God's sake. This Batman just looks like a guy. He's just a guy. And the way he beat that guy down, it's just that's not really formal at all. He's not he's not the best fighter in the world there. He's just some guy who can just beat you down anytime and just be like, I'm vengeance.
I thought that was so goofy. Oh my goodness. c.bo was there when I watched it for the first time because I didn't get the chance to. But I'm just as excited as Pedro is right now. I've been dying to see the Riddler again in media.
Yes.
Because he's such a good Batman villain. And I feel like people just make fun of him because they only know of Jim Carrey as the Riddler, and it's a super goofy version of the Riddler. I love that version of the Riddler.
I do too, actually.
But
yeah.
the Riddler knows who Batman is. That's a thing that's happened in comics multiple times. Where the Riddler has discovered that Bruce Wayne's Batman, and then uses that against Batman, even though Batman still comes out on top because the hero beats the villain and all that jazz. But it's still really cool that it seems like that's what they're doing in this movie too, where they already established that the Riddler is so intelligent and 3 steps ahead of Batman that he knows like Bruce Wayne is Batman, and there's that scene where Bruce Wayne is there is it the church, and then the guy's got the letter for Batman on his chest, and it's like, oh my gosh, is he gonna go over there and like get the letter? And like, I don't know.
So
I'm just
Juan,
excited.
You got to go now, right?
Well, hold on. I do want to add like just one final thing. Like,
I just want to ask before you add your final thing, and I want your thoughts on Patriots Day. So final thing first, then Patriots Day.
So my final thought for this one is that is it Riddler or is it Hush?
It's Riddler. It's Riddler.
Like, because like in the
that would be cool too if it was Hush.
Thomas Elliott? Well, no. Like, because Riddler's the original Hush when it first started. Yeah. So, and the way that he was like taping people up and he had his mask covered with glasses and stuff, that's what Hush usually looks like, right?
Yeah. It's definitely inspired.
They say it's the Riddler.
Yeah, it's the Riddler, yeah.
Right. And also the fact, like, Penguin's in this, Riddler's in this. Is Anarchy in it too? Because of all the soldiers that are kind of like seeming like a.
Some have said that's like the Sons of Batman. Like if you've seen The Dark Knight Returns, how like there's like that cult that like eventually just starts following Batman. He's his eyes and ears around the city. That'd be cool. I'd like that because that's realistic. Because like Batman can't be everywhere at once, so he must have people just that look out for him.
Nice. Like it's like Sherlock Holmes with the homeless network that he
exactly. Yeah, that would be freaking sick if that happens. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh god.
And now my second thing is with Patriots Day. Good movie, really good movie. It kind of reminds me of when I watched Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List, respectively, and that the filmmakers did a fantastic job of portraying real pain and suffering in a way that is hard to digest but necessary. And it brings, and like these movies are supposed to, like, some of these movies are supposed to show like American ingenuity, American pride, and being a patriot and stuff and fighting for what's right. When in reality, it's just about being human and being compassionate when you see people suffer, and when you're seeing like blood, like either like a bloody burned corpse or someone missing a leg or a terrorist fighting and desperate to try to survive for his message to live on. Like Patriots Day was one of those movies, and Mark Wahlberg did a fantastic job as being the audience representation of what's going on, kind of like a guide into like the real world. J.K. Simmons, again, he's popping up in a lot of these movies that we're watching, and it's a weird trend. But
in parentheses, chilling with c.bo in parentheses, J.K. Simmons fan club.
Just Harley Staron and J.K. Simmons. They gotta be in a movie together.
And it's great, and it's great, and it was a really good movie. I appreciate it. It moved in me, like in my soul. And it's criminal that it didn't do as well in the box office as it should have.
Yeah. All right, Juan. Well, thank you for your opinions and thank you for coming on.
Hey, guys, let me know what you think of Black Adam. I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Get your stuff done. All right. It's just the three of us now. So I guess, and you guys have any final opinions on the Batman trailer?
Can it come out tomorrow?
Yeah, that's the issue. But they're literally not done filming. They gotta work on it.
The problem is Robert Pattinson is still a little too afraid to come out and keep filming.
Well, yeah, because I wouldn't want to be sick either.
But apparently they're starting soon, so hopefully this movie comes out on time and we get this movie that we're just not ready for yet. And what is that
movie? It's the movie we need but don't deserve.
Yeah. And with Robert Pattinson, like, he just looks like a guy, man. I love it. As Batman, he just looks like a dude.
It is interesting seeing his physique in like the Batman costume. Like it looks good. It looks good on him, but I don't know how I feel about because I remember a lot of people were when I was watching after I watched the Batman trailer, and then I was looking at comments. People were calling him like hot topic Batman and stuff like that. And I was like, I after I seeing that, I'm like, is this gonna be like a droopy, sad, like my parents are dead kind of Batman?
Definitely.
I'm not gonna meet
Definitely. Just look
Christmas.
at him. He looks like he's about to have a mental breakdown every time we see him.
I mean, I don't want him to be super sad and mopey. I want him to have like the kind of confidence that the animated Batman had when he was doing.
Well, he's not
like
there yet.
like hee-haw, and then
Yeah,
does kung fu.
He's not there yet. He will get there though with time. But we got it. This, like I said, this is a year 2 Batman. He's still learning. He's still young. He's gonna make mistakes. It's gonna be gritty.
It's gonna be downright dirty.
Yeah, exactly. Look at him. He's like sweating all the time. I love it. It's like
It's realism at its finest.
he's like sweating. He's miserable.
He's sweating all the time and he's gross. Ugh.
Did you guys see that movie Good Time with Robert Pattinson?
No.
Good Time. Oh well, it's a movie. It's like one of his most famous indie movies where he plays like this criminal who's trying to get his brother out of jail, and like the whole time he's just like messy. He has this New York accent. It's like he just blends into the role. And when I saw the movie, I'm like, all right, he can be Batman. All right, yeah, I'm buying into him.
Yeah. Well, if I could add something, like with Jack's comment, like about his physique, he does look like a very scrawny Batman. But you gotta think about it. Batman was a little scrawny when he came back. He didn't bulk up until later in his years.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
He's a young fella. He's still learning.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
I want to bring up something. Like when this movie comes out, we have to think about like Heath Ledger's Joker comparing to this Riddler. Like this guy seems like he's on like an intellectual quest kind of thing, whereas Joker is just pure chaos and stuff. But did you have like some kind of similarity in chaos for both characters?
This is more.
I don't want to compare.
Yeah, I don't want to compare.
I just
but
want to
like,
watch. I'm sick of comparing things now. Like,
ouch!
I get like there's a time and a place. Like, oh, this performance is really good, and how is this one good? Like, I understand why you bring up that question. It is a good question, but I've reached that point with superhero movies where if you're doing a convincing performance, that's all I'm really caring about. Like, I mean, Jack Nicholson's a good Joker. Heath Ledger's a good Joker. Joaquin Phoenix was a good Joker. Jared Leto was he was good for the tone of the movie. Like, I get it. He's okay. He's not great. But if I was to compare the Riddler and the Joker, like Heath Ledger's Joker, it really feels like comparing apples to oranges because they're not this. I know they're trying to make it seem like they kind of follow the same path, but Pedro, you know from comics as well, like they're very like there is the Joker war with like the Riddler versus Joker and like trying to take over Gotham and War of Jokes and Riddles, that's what it is. But at the core of it, they are vastly different individuals with different goals in mind.
Yeah, Riddler is honestly just an asshole, and so he's an asshole and a narcissist who overcompensates himself and just desperately wants to outsmart Batman, and it never works because he's just up to his stupid old riddles, and I love every second of it every time he's on screen. Like, I hate when you walk, like in the Arkham game, I hate when you walk into a room and Riddler pops up. He's like, riddle me this, Batman. And it's just like, like, you're such an asshole.
That's why he's such a good character.
Yeah, I love it, yeah. I love it, yeah. I hope, even though he's more of a serial killer type 7 type of person, I hope we eventually get to that top hat green suit wearing Riddler, where he's like, oh, like riddle me this, Batman, and he sits on a chair laughing, but like in a realistic way that fits in this universe.
It'd be really cool. It'd be really cool if he did that throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Like he eventually, by the end of it, does turn into that. I don't know, because I feel like that Riddler comes from a very comic booky, like fun sort of universe.
Yeah, I hope
this one doesn't seem like it's gonna turn into that anytime soon. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, but like I hope they do that their own version of that, and yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So any more thoughts on the Batman?
I'm good.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna talk about the movies that are farther than 2021, and that's like the first one I guess that caught our attention was probably Black Adam. This movie is there's no trailer. It was just The Rock like hyping himself up and showing some concept art and like giving us like what the movie's gonna be about this ancient like demigod who is all about justice. He's neither a bad guy nor a good guy. He's just a guy who serves his own philosophies, and he'll do anything it takes to make sure they come true. And that sounds like an awesome thing because it's not gonna be black and white, and he's gonna be fighting with the Justice Society or against them, and there's gonna be Hawkman, Atom Smasher, and freaking Dr. Fate. Wow, mind blown. I wish this movie I think was really close to starting production, but COVID. So yeah. So we're not gonna get this movie for a while, but I'm sure when COVID blows over, I guess they'll start production. But man, oh man, this movie's gonna be awesome.
They're gonna crank that movie out so fast because it sounds like such a great time, and to see The Rock as this larger than life character that everyone already sees him as would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Just
he
looks
so. Sorry. I'm just saying, like he looks so passionate about it, and it's just like, okay, I'm getting hyped for this because like The Rock, like like he picks and chooses movies that like this is something like he's wanted from like the beginning. He's like, I want to be Black Adam. I got to be Black Adam. This is a story I want to make, and I want to kick ass. And I'm like, okay, please let him do this. I want to see this.
And I never really pictured anyone else as Black Adam other than The Rock. So first of all, good cast choice.
Yes.
Second, it's going to be really interesting when they're going to put Shazam and Black Adam in the same movie. Like, first of all, the actor for Shazam? I forget his name.
Zachary Levi.
What?
Zachary Levi.
Zachary Levi, and like compare him to The Rock.
He's gonna get his ass kicked. It's gonna be awesome.
Watching the boot and the ants, with The Rock being the boot. So it's gonna. So I don't know how they're gonna.
That's why Shazam has his family. That's it's not gonna just be a one-on-one.
I'm just saying, like, it's. I don't know.
Do you think they did the Shazam? Sorry.
It's okay.
Do you think they did the Shazam family too early? Do you think they should have saved it for this one?
No, I actually like that they introduced them. I was actually really surprised when they did that. I'm like, whoa, they're actually doing this. That's awesome. When I first saw Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because thinking of future movies with DC, like clearly Black Adam and Shazam are going to meet up at some point, but I thought it would have been really cool if, like, as an arc, Shazam tries to fight Black Adam by himself, fails, realizes he could share his powers with his family and create the Shazam family, and then they fight Black Adam and win. That would have been a really cool movie, but I don't know what they're gonna do. So
and that's kind of exciting. We don't know, and the possibilities are kind of endless.
Yeah,
I really hope they don't fuck it up.
DC has momentum. They got momentum now, man.
They gotta keep up this particular momentum, because before it was now it's like, okay, you get in your stride, keep this up, please.
You already got 3 quality movies in the yeah, we got 3 quality movies coming out so far that have dates. So
No more Justice League nonsense. We can't. No more of that controversial garbo. We
They
just
rushed the Justice movie. Let's just say
one
it.
director, one movie. Just keep going. Just go with it. Something.
okay, so do we have any more final thoughts on Black Adam?
I just want to say that when I saw it, it kind of gave me like one of those, like it gave me the Scorpion vibe. Like remember when
Yes, like yes.
yeah,
It definitely feels like it's gonna be like an epic adventure movie of that sort. Definitely.
yeah. So, but let's just hope that it's better quality.
So speaking of Justice League, I guess we gotta talk about this other trailer that made the waves. And that is the finally the Snyder Cuts. It's coming. This is the true Justice League we should have gotten back in 2017 is coming. And I gotta say, I couldn't be any more excited. I'm glad Zack Snyder is finally getting the movie that he envisioned. Like, even though if you don't like Zack Snyder's movies and his DC movies, you gotta be like, okay, I'm proud. It's cool that he's getting the movie that he always wanted to make, and that that it's not gonna be butchered by a studio again.
No more studio interference.
Yes.
Director independence.
Yes.
It was really interesting seeing all the new footage in that trailer, though,
Yeah.
or all footage that was originally altered but is now in its original form.
Yes.
The trailer had a very strange feeling to it. I think it just came with the song that they chose for it and how they made it seem like, finally, after all these years, we dove back into the archives and discovered the true justice.
I think that was the point. Like the Hallelujah song, just like Hallelujah, this is getting released. Yes, that's the point, in my opinion.
It felt like kind of like a Deadpool moment, or like, yes, this is the real movie.
Very, like, exactly. Like, it felt really in your face about the fact that, like, oh, you thought the Justice League was a bad movie. This is the movie we should have gotten, and it's gonna be good, and you're gonna love what we did. I guarantee it. You're gonna love the way you look.
I guess you love the way, but I don't blame him for doing that because that movie's disaster changed everything. And honestly, the best thing that came out of it is that DC is what it is today because of that disaster. Because if that version of Justice League that came out in theaters was a $1 billion success, we'd be living in a different world right now, man. They would not be investing so much in this multiverse and like having this many options for fans. And yeah, it's just I feel like low key Justice League's disaster was kind of a good thing because they stopped chasing Marvel and now they're just doing their own thing now and yeah, I can't wait for it, and this will be closure for anyone who's a Snyder fan.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just really hoping that they're not tooting their horn too loud and turns out like it winds up being just as good, if not only slightly better. I just don't want them to build up this hype for this movie only to disappoint with either few changes or like there are changes, but they wind up making even less sense. Like I know there's some scenes in the trailer that were like, oh, I completely forgot about like Cyborg's dad or the mother box and like, oh, there's Apocalypse and stuff like that. But I just really hope that in the attempt to make this movie seem better, they didn't sacrifice even more just to justify like, but the fact that this is all Zack Snyder means that it's better, kind of.
Well, I think it's already better because that movie that came out is just soulless, no passion whatsoever, and it's just let's just do our best to try to be like the Avengers, and it crashed and burned, and I'm glad it did because we shouldn't reward trash like that. But yeah, it's good. First, do you like how it's going to be 4 episodes? It's going to be 4 one-hour episodes. It's like a mini series.
That's better, I guess. I mean, I would have said
because Zack Snyder's like, oh, I'm unchained on this one. I'm doing whatever the hell I want, and like this is the movie I originally wanted.
But are they all coming out at the same time?
I don't know about that. They haven't like, again, it comes out next year, so we'll get more details as it gets closer. But it's like,
yeah, don't do.
I dig it because it gives more room to expand and to tell their story and let the characters breathe and do their own thing.
True.
Yeah.
But that also leaves the opportunity for fluff, which is horrible. Like the one thing, like now that they've set up this expectation that they have to be 4 1-hour slots, like, yeah, it could just be a 4-hour movie, but now they're limiting themselves to, well, now they have to be at least an hour each in order for it to feel like this grandiose thing that he's always wanted it to be. And how much of that could be cut, and how many Snyder Cut cuts are we gonna see?
I think this will be the last one.
Hope so.
Yeah.
But
What
that's
about
an
you, Pedro?
interesting move.
Sorry. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that was an interesting move for like a mini series kind of thing.
What about you? I was about to call you Juan. What about you, Pedro? Any more thoughts on the Snyder Cut?
It is interesting that we're probably gonna get the director's version of the movie. Like we're finally gonna get to see his vision, and as Jack pointed out, like if there's like a lot of fluff in it, like if it's not what we expected, like right now the movie is built on a very high expectation, and if Snyder fails to deliver that expectation, his career is gonna really suffer for it.
I mean, I feel like the only expectation is that we should have right now is that it's going to be better than whatever we got in 2017. That's the goal it should surpass, and I think it's going to surpass that monumentally. So, we'll see, though. We'll see. You never know. I think there's going to be a lot of surprises, and I think there's going to be some things we're going to be blown away by that. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Hope so.
Yeah.
I really hope.
That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah. So I guess the last movie we're going to be talking about is the movie that can make or break the future of DC movies, and that is The Flash.
Oh, God, the Flashpoint movie.
Oh, first off, this movie has been getting teased, and there's been so many directors and so many filmmakers that they brought on, but they left the project. But now it seems like they're sticking with this current director, who's the director of both It movies, the late Andy Muschietti. Yes.
Oh, I love him.
Yes, I believe he's Argentinian. So yeah, that's cool. By the way, that a South American is directing a Flash movie. But anyway, yeah, it's been it was confirmed like a couple of weeks ago that Michael Keaton's Batman is returning as Batman in this movie, and I think like a week ago, it was confirmed that Ben Affleck's Batman is coming back as well. So we have 2 different Batmans in 2 different universes colliding with the Flash. And I gotta say, wow, that is amazing. I cannot wait. But it's unfortunate, like Black Adam. They were gonna start production soon, but COVID. Yeah. So whenever COVID blows over is whenever they'll start production on this movie. But what do you guys think of this latest Flash movie? And they're putting their foot in the door. They're putting their foot into the multiverse door.
Well, I don't know how they're gonna do. What are they gonna do with the Michael Keaton aspect? Either he's gonna be 1989 Batman, or he's gonna be Thomas Wayne Batman.
No, it's confirmed. He's Bruce Wayne.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
My bad. Well, still, it would have been interesting to see a Thomas Wayne Batman in the live DC universe.
Maybe that could still happen.
Well, anyway, it is really cool that they're actually putting in the multiverse series. This is something they're doing kind of ahead of Marvel. Marvel hasn't done any live-action multiversing.
Doctor Strange 2 is supposed to go into that, but Doctor Strange 2, again, COVID. They can't do anything. They can't do anything right now.
Yeah, so kudos for DC. They got what they set the flag down before Marvel.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be really cool to see like all that interdimensional interaction, and who knows, maybe they'll even bring Christian Bale's Batman into the fold.
Oh my God. Oh man. I don't think he will though.
Or maybe
I think if they're gonna bring back that universe back, it's gonna be Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and that'd be awesome too.
he could be Nightwing for that one. We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know what happened to Joseph Gordon-Levitt after Dark Knight Rises.
I was still confused. Not to trail off, but why did he choose Joseph, that guy specifically to take up the mantle? Like he just met him.
He saw something in him.
All right, fair enough.
What about you, Jack? What do you think of the Flash and the multiverse madness?
Why? I feel like this is. I'm seeing the Justice League issue in this. Like, it feels very strange why they are choosing to do Flashpoint for Flash's first solo movie. This is his movie by himself, where he's got to like really, I don't know, like he's got a big responsibility with being the main movie version of the Flash. And I know there are like it could be hinted at that maybe even the other Flash from the TV series might come in.
Because Ezra did guest star.
Awesome. That'd be really good because he's the Flash that a lot of people know, and that's a lot of people really love the Flash TV show. And frankly, when this movie Flash was casted, a lot of people questioned why they didn't just cast the TV Flash in the Justice League movie. But I don't know why DC believes that the Flash's main outing into his solo movie should be something as huge as Flashpoint. Because Flashpoint changed everything in the comic book universe. And but before that, there were still engaging stories and everything that the Flash could have done prior to Flashpoint. Flashpoint feels like this kind of humongous event that you would save for later on after you've made sure you've got your footing right with how you want to portray your movies. And this just feels like DC has picked up its stride now with movies like Wonder Woman and Aquaman and everything post Justice League, and they're going to trip once they get to this Flash movie, and they're going to fall on their face hoping that Black Adam's going to fix it. But I just don't have a ton of faith in the Flash movie. I don't. And I don't want to say that because Michael Keaton's going to be in it. He's going to be Batman, and that sounds awesome.
Wanna get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Yeah.
I love that. There's no part of me that doesn't want that to be seen on the big screen. But that has there's so much room for error in this type of scenario that I'm worried. I am severely worried that DC's going to goof it up.
You know, I honestly think I think they're just crazy enough to pull it off.
I want to be proven wrong.
Yes,
I do.
And I don't think it's a straight Flashpoint adaptation. They even said it's not. If there's going to be elements of it, but I don't think it's good. I think Bear's going to do something else to fuck with the multiverse. You know?
Then don't call it Flashpoint.
It's not called Flashpoint though.
What's it called?
It's just called the Flash.
Wait, are they gonna put the cosmic treadmill in this movie?
I don't know, but the possibilities are endless though.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
You mentioned the CW Flash, and I'm like, no, I'm just saying. You mentioned the CW Flash, and I'm like, that show was good at a point, but I'm like, I
think the first point in it already.
But like, you know, it's like I just want to see Flash now in a big budget movie with with actual production value. No offenses, CW. Jack, you are worried, and there's good concern. There's really good concern that you have, definitely.
Yes.
Because you care. You want to be proven wrong though.
Because DC's got such good properties, and you want them to be good.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we've seen enough Batman movies that we know Batman's idea. I'm still super excited about the Batman movie coming out in 2021. Don't get me wrong, but like I would love to see new movies like The Flash and Green Lantern. But imagine if they did the Green Lantern movie, but the first one they did was when he turned into Parallax and then he just was evil. That's what that feels like by doing a Flashpoint-esque movie for the Flash.
Okay, no, it's definitely a valid concern. Definitely valid. What about you? What about you, Pedro? Any last thoughts on the Flash?
I think it's a big step forward, and I think like they're still trying to do Marvel in that aspect, trying to get there first. But I think they're learning from their mistakes. They're taking their time. Maybe they're actually listening to the writers and directors for once instead of being controlled by the studios. So I have faith in them.
Okay.
I'm not a lot of faith, but I have faith. And also, when will we get that Green Lantern buddy cop movie that they told us about? I want that.
Yeah, Green Lantern still feels like a ways off, but who knows? Maybe when these movies are done, Green Lantern is next. But I want it too, man. Don't worry. But there is a Green Lantern HBO Max show coming out, so
Really?
maybe that will satiate your desires.
We shall see.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna end off on talking about what Juan left off on, which was Patriots Day. You guys saw Patriots Day, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll start off with Jack. What did you think of the movie?
I don't know. I mean, there's a part of me that wants to not look at this movie and see it as just another like super drama about the horrors of like a terrorist attack and things like that. But it's really hard for me not to, especially when one of those characters is Mark Wahlberg. Like it's so hard for me to believe because I know it's based on stuff that's really happened, and it's a story about like these terrorists' plans and the bombing and everything. And but Mark Wahlberg has a way of getting in my head where it's like every time I see him, I'm like, oh, this is fake. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because he's just oversaturated is probably the most polite way I can say it. But I feel like he's just in so much, and it's not. I don't know. Not that I don't think that turned me off from the movie entirely, but I just found it difficult to have a suspension of disbelief that Mark Wahlberg is just this cop that was there that day and he did his best to help the way he could. I don't know. Overall, it's a good movie, but this kind of falls into that realm of movies where, for myself, I've not. It just doesn't feel. I don't know. I just don't really have a huge opinion about this movie. Like it
It
exists. Man. I watched it, and it was okay.
Yeah. No, you have very valid opinions. Everyone does. Yeah. What about you, Pedro?
I feel like this movie, like besides what my brother said about the whole human tragedy and coming together and stuff, it also played on the aspect of fear. Terrorists. My bad. Terrorists are out for the single purpose of causing fear in a society. They want to make those that they deem bad suffer through fear and pain. And that's what this show, terrorism does a lot to people. It makes them paranoid, suspicious. It makes them afraid to leave their homes, and it makes government shut down cities. And sometimes innocent people are arrested for no good reason. Like early in the movie when that student was arrested, when that Palestinian student was arrested, even though he didn't do anything. And then those guys, the stoners who found the bomb stuff, and they didn't say anything. Now it wasn't said, but they didn't say anything about it. Maybe out of fear that they thought they would be connected, or fear that the guy might kill them too.
It was probably that, yeah.
Nah, And do you remember Catherine Russell, the wife of one of the terrorists? She was interviewed. They were poking at her feet, at her fears that everything she knows is a lie. Everything that with her husband, it's not real, and that their version of Islam is all a lie, just to spread terror. And yeah, all the suspense of this movie, like it really got to me. Like the bombing, the shootout, the really big element of the movie was fear, and yeah, it plays to even today's reality of COVID-19 and the Black Lives Matter riots and police shooting innocent people. It's a good movie it's a good movie in relating to the constant element of fear that we as a society live in.
Definitely. I thought this was a good movie, and I like Mark Wahlberg more than most people, unlike Jack. I think he's
don't
good.
not like Mark Wahlberg. He's a good actor. He's become such a big name in things that it's hard for him to be portraying a common dude.
Yeah.
Like this movie would have felt so much more impactful to me if there were no big stars.
Okay, yeah.
Imagine you just grabbed random people off of the street, maybe even people that actually were there at the time, and then did this whole movie. That would have, I don't know. I just felt like that would have had a bigger impact with me than.
Okay. I thought this was a really good movie. I not only did it do a good portrayal of just the fear that Pedro was talking about that we feel when stuff like this happens, but it also did a good job of showing a city enduring and coming together during a time of tragedy. And that kind of hits today because one day, hopefully, whenever this pandemic ends, I feel like we need something like that where we can come together and harmony and
again.
Just come together again.
Well said. Well said.
So, any more final thoughts on Patriots Day?
No.
Oh yeah, but what about you, Jack? Any more final thoughts?
It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I don't want to come across as being callous and being like, "Oh, this movie, this sucked." And Mark Wahlberg's a bad actor. That's not what I'm saying.
No. We get what you're saying, dude. We get what you're saying.
But to those listening, I know you two will get where I'm coming from because you know me a little better. But I feel like this movie I don't know how I would feel if people decided to make this movie. Felt bizarre to me, mainly because they decided to do a movie about something that, like a historical event that was very recent.
Yeah.
Versus something like, I don't know, like World War II movies. Like there's a sense of disconnect from it to where you can imagine, but I feel like the feeling, like if they did a movie, if there was a movie that came out in 2003 and it was portrayed like this, where instead of the Boston bombing, it was 9/11.
Actually, there is a movie like that.
Okay, I don't know. I feel like it's bizarre to make a drama about
something so recent.
Yeah, like a very recent event. It's like when all those people started watching Contagion after COVID-19 started becoming more and more prominent. They're like, "Oh, what's going to happen?" And people look to it as like for fact, like, "Oh, this could definitely happen." It just feels very, I don't know. It just feels like a weird genre.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing that you have to be careful with.
Yeah, but I like its portrayal of first responders and
definitely,
and how it is a movie about fear, but it's a movie about coming together and overcoming that sense of fear. and not succumbing it and letting people control you through that means.
And the absolute importance of first responders and the bravery that they all have.
Mhm.
All right, cool. Now that we are towards the end of the podcast, I guess we gotta. Do we have any ideas of what movies we want to decide, or?
I had an idea last night, but my brother shot me down for it.
Okay, but maybe we can bring it back up again. What are you thinking, Pedro?
I was hoping, since we're kind of going off fear, I was hoping we could do like some kind of a horror movie,
Okay.
like Stephen King, preferably.
Okay.
What kind of Stephen King movie? Because there's a lot of it really depends on what you're picking from.
Well, at first I thought we could do Pet Sematary.
The new one?
Yeah,
I've seen
or
that.
I haven't seen it yet.
It
And
was okay. I liked it.
well, but we could also do a classic like what's The Shining.
I love The Shining. I read the book as well.
Yeah, I've seen was it Professor Dream?
Doctor Sleep.
Doctor
Yeah.
Sleep.
I love that movie.
Both of them just sound like knockoff DC heroes.
Yeah.
Saw Doctor Sleep, and it was really good. And I thought, like, well, I should see The Shining, then see the source material. So I thought, like, if we're gonna play off like from historical drama to something that relates to fear, a horror movie would be a good way to go. But
Let me look at Netflix. Let me look at the Netflix horror movies that. I do, yeah, I could do a horror movie, definitely.
So what kind of you want to Pedro, because you brought up the concept of horror, what kind of horror were you I know you said Stephen King style horror, but are you thinking more of like a psychological or like a supernatural kind of horror? Do you want to dive into something that's more of a thriller like Friday the 13th, where the scariest thing is something that you can't stop kind of horror?
no,
Or
I can't do. Well, for me, Friday the 13th has gone from scary to silly, in my opinion.
well, I love those movies so much because
Like
it's
Jason
so
Goes to New York.
brutal. It's so brutal. Dude,
That's a good movie. Jason Goes to New York.
It's so campy, though, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, but that's the
they're
point.
so like Jason X. I'm not saying Jason X is Oscar nominee perfect. Ooh, like cinema masterpiece. But the fact that there's a killer from the 80s that gets recovered in the future and turns into a half cyborg monster and like crushes people with liquid nitrogen and stuff. That movie is awesome. It's so
Okay.
good.
Okay, I have an idea for a movie on Netflix.
Okay.
Have you guys seen The Witch?
Which is that the spiritual successor to Blair Witch?
No, it's an A24 movie, kind of like The Lobster, but
Yeah, I have no problem seeing it. The only person that I think has a problem with seeing it is Juan. He
Is
hates
he a baby? He's a big old baby face.
but if we all vote to see it, then he has no choice in seeing it.
Oh God, you're so evil.
Listen, I'll watch anything.
So do you guys want to see The Witch?
I want to see The Witch.
We're seeing The Witch. All right.
Right.
So The Witch 2015 on Netflix. All right.
Okay. More Fandome stuff is coming out in September 12th.
Yeah.
So I assume we'll just talk more about it when it gets closer.
Yeah.
Is that 2 weeks?
Hopefully, I'll have time in between work to make the podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, I guess this is the end of the podcast. We ran an hour and a half because there was a lot to talk about. But yeah, I'm glad we did. Guys, thank you so much for coming on, and hopefully, we'll have more news to talk about, whenever it comes,
For sure.
Yeah. We'll be back next week, guys, and thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
The pleasure is mine. Or the pleasure is
guys. Until next time.
You never see it coming.
And...
Doopy dinner, and best and right. God,